Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're watching this video, the chances are you've watched our original one on this car from Only Fools and Horses. Now, originally Callum Thomas challenged us to find this Crayford Cortina convertible, and we got almost there but not quite. But we've got a bit further. Now, after we launched the first video, which has had a massive amount of views, and I highly recommend you go and watch that one before you watch this video, is that, and the interesting thing is we had so many comments with little tidbits about the car, but one interesting one was by Brian Said It So It Must Be True, who questioned the validity of my investigation and suggested it was inconclusive because I haven't provided enough evidence. In legal terms, I guess he felt I'd not done it beyond all reasonable doubt. And I hadn't got much of a kickback to that. But then Neil Woodburn dropped me a note giving me a lead on who the actual owner was of this car. So after a little bit of toing and froing, and the reason behind that is the person that owns it doesn't want to be named. They provided me, all the evidence I need to know that they have got the car, and also given us a little bit of background. So that's going to be quite interesting for you in a moment. Now, I do want to quickly deal with a couple of issues that people brought up on the first video. Now, the first one is that the fake number that was on the car, the OXL number, should have been clearly known as fake, because apparently that XL suffix on the registration number wasn't used after 1963. So that made it obvious it was a fake plate. You live and learn. And the other thing is, I got it completely wrong, suggesting the reason it hadn't had an MOT after 2012 was because it'd gone beyond the 40 years old. That rule didn't come in until 2018, so my bad on that one. So the bit you're really here for, what do I know about this car now? Well, the owner, she's told me she owned it since 1978. And the great thing is, I can do a my car check on this car, and yes, look, 1978 was the last change of owner. Now, the story about how she came by the car is down to the fact that her father owned Kingsbury Motor Hire, which became Vision Vehicle Hire. Now, this was a company that loaned vehicles to film and TV. They supplied all sorts. Cars, police cars, vans, bikes, even milk floats. They supplied programs such as Dixon the Dock Green and the Sweeney. And the interesting about the Sweeney was, I know someone that used to take out the windscreens of the cars for the Sweeney so they could do the filming. And they remember Vision Vehicle Hire, so that helps tie it all in. And the other program they supplied vehicles for was Dad's Army. Do you remember Jones's van? Well, that was one of the cars that this company supplied. They also supplied incidental vehicles to Bond films. And of course, the other car, do you remember this one from the first video I did, Onslow's car? Well, this was owned by the current owner of the Crayford, and apparently it was her daily driver. And knowing it was going to be used by a film crew, she spent ages cleaning it, got it absolutely immaculate, only to discover that the film crew filled it with rubbish and covered it with dirt. She was mortified. So anyway, the bit you're really here for, the Crayford. Now, the Crayford, as I said, was acquired in 1978 by her, and it was a car that her father had taken in part exchange. And she pestered him for it, and so rather than letting him sell it on, she convinced him to let her buy it. Now, the car was originally silver, so it had been like this one here. Now, it was sprayed black in 77, so that was the year before it was acquired by the current owner. And if you remember the scene in Only Fools and Horses, where the car appears, it's black with silver boot and bonnet, that was down to the film crew. So when it was returned to her, it was actually in sort of original colours. Now, apparently the car in her own words, has suffered from some years of neglect. And about 3 years ago, a sort of pretty slow restoration has commenced. Apparently now the body is sort of completed and it's ready for a repaint, but it is in need of trim and mechanical work. So it's on the road to recovery, and hopefully we're going to see it again. And it just sort of brings a great conclusion to this story that the car is out there, and you know, we found it, and that's down to you guys out there. So if you know anything about the vehicles that we search for, particularly ones on Wheeler Dealers and on these TV shows, please do get in touch, or you know, drop us a comment. And in the meantime, click the subscribe button. Until next time,